San Simeon, which later became known as Hearst Castle, was the private country estate of William Randolph Hearst, the nation's first media mogul and one of the wealthiest men in America. He called this his summer estate, La Cuesta Encantada, or the Enchanted Hill. He had several other homes, including a million-acre ranch in Mexico.
So Mr. Hearst loved the gardens in Italy primarily, so the Mediterranean gardens, and he traveled all around Italy, loved how the actual gardens set off the building structure, so that was definitely part of the plan here. These palm trees that you see, some of these are actually from his day, but some of them we've had to replace. When you see historical photographs, these palm trees are actually much shorter. So he planted these palm trees to feel like living columns. He also loved the mazes that he would see. So up above there, you've got some mazes. He loved the fruit tree. Wanted the fruits to be left on the trees to be like little colorful, something colorful to enhance the gardens when these spring flowers weren't blooming. So right now we do have a lot of spring flowers, not full, but we've got lantanas. That's what is draping over the wall there. Got all different kinds of citruses, tangerines, lemons. He planted something like 70,000 trees here on the property. Now that's on the property, not right up here. He also had lots of orchards full of fruit, apples, pears, peaches, plums, nectarines, even almonds and avocados. And the cooks would use the fruits, and they would have big bowls of fruit for even the staff members. They could grab fruit if they wanted to. Didn't want them to pick the fruit, though. He was very particular about that. According to some of the people that worked for him, they said, you know, you couldn't get in trouble picking the fruit. The fruit was just there to for his guests to enjoy as a visual. He walked around.
Were there some particular gardens in Europe that really inspired him, or he just...
Gardens in Spain and Italy primarily. I can't think of a particular garden. Behind there is an oak tree. So you may have heard about the oak trees that he moved here on. So he loved the landscape, loved this beautiful landscape, and the oak trees are native to California, so coastal live oaks. In fact, today we've got laws against even trimming an oak tree. So the laws, of course, were different in Mr. Hearst's day. However, if an oak tree got in the way of his building plans, he'd just tell Miss Morgan to have it relocated. So imagine...
He was a conservationist in a certain sense.
He was, and he didn't want to hurt them, so imagine what a big deal that was back in his day. It involved digging down, encasing the roots in cement, maybe 10 feet or so, then using house hauling equipment to move the trees, perhaps inch by inch. So and right back there is one of the trees that he moved. A lot of this was also very much planned. Miss Morgan planned, right here you've got a trellis of roses, pink roses that bloom there. You've got a little red line here on the top Sekhmet. This is a sculpture that came from Egypt. These 4 sculptures of Sekhmet are the oldest art objects here on the property. They're over 3,000 years old. So the top Sekhmet has that line of feldspar, a naturally occurring mineral, in the diorite that these are carved out of, which is a very hard form of granite. So you see the pink camellias?
So he tidied the colors of the plants in with that.
You might say
and then the rose, the arbor behind? So this is well designed.
I would imagine Miss Morgan did.
So even though she wasn't a landscape architect per se, but she would have had a sense of that.
Definitely. She was his landscape designer. She was also his not only his architect, she was a civil engineer, so she knew how to do a lot of things. Took on a project that many other people probably would have shied away from. The style that these lantanas are cut in, their shape, actually it's something that is historical. We have historical photographs that we use to go by. We've got azaleas and camellias. These roses have a beautiful scent. I mean, wonderful scent. So if you come back when they're in bloom, the scents are just really pungent. Because today, of course, they kind of buy roses and plant them, and they don't have a whole lot of scent. So some of these are really great.
So was he an avid gardener himself?
As far as I know, he himself was not a gardener. He definitely hired gardeners. And Millicent, his wife, in the very beginning, actually specified certain flowers that she liked.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about wanting the colors of the flowers to go with the colors of the tiles on the cottages. So he was very specific about what he wanted. Bougainvillea, lots of bougainvillea, which has all been trimmed back right now.
Okay.
So it's not looking its finest. Right over here is a flower I want you to, is a little vine that I want you to take a little sniff of. It's called heliotrope.
Almost smells a little bit like vanilla. So this is the main garden right around here.
Well, the gardens go all the way around.
Okay.
So if you continue walking all the way around, you can see more. The plant that you see right there, the little tiny little red flowers on that bush,
Yes.
that's called a New Zealand tea tree.
Are these a type of fern? I like that there's some,
I'm not exactly sure.
and there's some other ferns that I bet they are. Awesome. Oh, sure, there's the English boxwood, sure. Or the common box. Yeah. And here's some here. They've been blended in.
The roses climbing up
The palm.
tree.
Is there anything else that you can think of about his,
His garden?
his gardens? What went into it, or what was motivating him?
Else, I just know that they were important to him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he did like to take, this is about a quarter of a mile, little loop around here, so you should do that. He and his girlfriend Marion Davies used to go around every evening at sunset and smell the roses.
Nice.
So that was something they would do together.
William Randolph Hearst started building his castle in 1919 and continued construction until 1947. When he stopped, it was only about 40 to 50% complete. He spent about $10 million to build it. That's about $700 million in today's money. He spent $7 million to build the estate and about $3 million to fill it with art. San Simeon is comprised of the castle itself, called La Casa Grande, and 3 cottages or small chateaus surrounding the main house. Between them all, there are 58 bedrooms, including 48 guest accommodations, 60 bathrooms, 18 sitting rooms, and 41 fireplaces. La Casa Grande has 5 main floors and more than 68,500 square feet of living space and more than 150 rooms. Together with its 3 adjacent cottages, there is a combined living space of almost 78,000 square feet. San Simeon was part of Hearst's larger ranch, which was 250,000 acres in size, or 1/2 the size of the state of Rhode Island, containing some 30 miles of California coastline. Hearst Castle has 127 acres of gardens, along with a mile-long pergola in front of the castle with a hilltop path for walking or horseback riding with spectacular views overlooking the coastline below. San Simeon sits on a hill about 1,600 feet above the sea, and it takes about 15 minutes to travel up a winding road to get there from Highway 1 on the coastline below. San Simeon contained its own private zoo with antelope, bison, deer, giraffes, kangaroos, zebras, and a polar bear. Some 140 zebras still roam freely today amidst the Hearst Ranch cattle herds. Hearst was America's first media mogul, the Rupert Murdoch of his day. He owned 38 newspapers and numerous magazines. Through the media, he tried to control the country's politics and public opinion. This won him many friends and a few enemies. The rich and famous vacationed at San Simeon at Hearst's invitation. George Bernard Shaw said that San Simeon was the place God would have built if he had the money. After Hearst's death in 1951, the castle was donated to the state of California and is now a state park. It was too expensive for the Hearst heirs to maintain. Currently, it costs $20 million a year to upkeep. Presently, about 1 million people visit the castle each year and pay $25 for an entrance fee and additional fees for additional tours. Hearst Castle was modeled after a medieval Spanish castle. The castle is Mediterranean, Italian, and Spanish in style, and it contains art from Hearst's Mediterranean, Renaissance, and Gothic art collections. The indoor Roman pool, which is beneath the tennis courts, contains 1 million 1-inch square tiles. Many of the floor tiles are covered in 22-karat gold leaf. When you walk around the pool, you're not quite walking on streets of gold, but it's the closest thing to it this side of the biblical New Jerusalem's heaven on earth. The 127 acres of terraced gardens surrounding Hearst Castle, for obvious reasons, take a backseat to the castle itself, along with the cottages, art, and architectural features that surround it. But they are in no way to be overlooked. Though not on a par with the world's most notable gardens, they are nevertheless spectacular for at least 2 reasons. First, they are surrounded by art and architecture that is second to none in America and is otherwise world-renowned. Second, the views and vistas from the garden are some of the most spectacular and extraordinary to be seen anywhere. If Hearst Castle is a diamond, then the gardens are the ring in which it sits, and the land surrounding San Simeon is the hand on which the ring is worn.